Hey Yilbers, how you doing? Well, tonight I thought I'd like to talk about how I sort of got into assemblage. I know I do lots of different styles of art, but you know, assemblage is one that I really like and have a passion for. And I guess that passion started way back when I was, I don't know, early teens. What used to happen is me and this girl I used to hang around with called Tracy. Basically our families were really close, and I used to go over her place on weekends a lot, as well as in school holidays, and sleep over, and we'd go horse riding and hiking and do all that sort of fun stuff. Anyway, they lived really close to a dump, and on the odd occasion we'd go up to the dump and go scavenging to see if we could find you know, cool junk. We could find really cool pieces of shit. The reason, actually, we found quite a lot of cool stuff at that dump because, as sad as this may seem, there was a nursing home not far from the dump, and obviously when people pass forward, their loved ones obviously thought, oh, we're not gonna keep their stuff, and next minute the suitcase ends up in the tip. So, you know, we would go there, and I remember this once. I found this suitcase and I opened it up, and it was this old guy's suitcase, and it was full of his clothes, and there was books and lots of old shoes and really cool stuff. But I remember finding in this suitcase was this little silver box, and I thought, oh, it's like treasure. And I opened it up, and it was full of old watches. There was a fog watch in there. There was some old stamps. There was a ring, lots of little trinkety bits. And there was this really old torch. In fact, it was fashioned out of a piece of metal. It was curved into a pipe, and the actual lens for the torch was actually a half sphere of glass, and it had an old battery in there, so it was like really old. But you know, you just find all these magical things, and that was the great thing about doing that sort of stuff. And over the years, we found quite a few interesting items. So that's sort of how I really started to begin getting into assemblage. And then, you know, I forgot about it for years and years, and then I think it was early last year, or maybe the beginning of the year before, I came across an assemblage artist called Michael Demang, who really, I guess, gave me my childhood back. Because when you think about assemblage, right, it's just an adult word for doing kids stuff. Because, you know, we get to play with objects, make them something imaginary, make them something of another world, make them whatever. So it's quite funny that as adults we can get to be kids again just through the word of assemblage. That's quite funny. So yeah, Michael Demang helped me, well, he sort of opened the door for me and gave me that link back to my childhood. And you know, what can I say? And that's when I started getting into it. You know, as most artists, when you begin, you sort of like to copy that artist because you really like their style, but you know, after a while you end up doing your own thing. And you know, one thing that I'm not going to do is I'm not going to copy Michael Demang's or any other assemblage artists, and I guess that's why I've started doing my own techniques and creating foil art over the top of my found objects, and then aging them that way and putting my own colours and my own spin, and like, for example, making cool little masks myself, and you know, doing lots of stuff. And I really like that. I wanted to mention about I was listening to an interview, I don't know, a week or so ago on this program called, what was it, Craftcast, and they were interviewing Keith LeBou, who is another assemblage artist who happens to live in Australia as well. Anyway, the host was asking Keith about, you know, what sort of assemblage artist, and he was going on, and he calls himself a stuff smith, you know, like a blacksmith, but he works with stuff, as he calls it, little bits and pieces of stuff. So he said, yeah, I'm called a stuffsmith. And he goes, it was so confusing trying to tell, you know, people exactly what you do and, you know, you're assemblage artist, but what sort of things do you work with? And he just coined the term stuffsmith. Well, I had a laugh and I was thinking about it. That's fine for him, but you know what? I'm called a shitsmith. Because at the end of the day, you can call it assemblage, you can call it found objects, but at the end of the day, it's just bits of old shit we just glue together. So, I'm sticking to the term shitsmith. It's like, you know, assemblage and found objects is such a posh word for finding bits of old shit and gluing them together. Gotta love that. So anyway, I've been working, as you probably can tell, on an assemblage piece called the Timekeeper. It's a new one, and I've sort of powered on a lot today with it, and I'm really happy with where I've got it so far. So I sort of showed you little bits and pieces of it. And this is as far as I got. I'll show you what I've done with it so far. It's not all together, I'm sort of balancing it all, but it's coming together. I'm really happy with it so far. I've stuck all these bits together and made that, and then I took all these clock bits and then glued them together to go inside, because he's going to be a timekeeper, and he can stop time, and that's what the power is of the timekeeper. Because a lot of the time life just goes so fast and we think, you know, where has the time gone? It's just flown. So I guess this is, the timekeeper is my sort of way of creating an assemblage that sort of incorporates the idea of time and standing still or moving fast and that sort of thing. So anyway, that's about it. I hope you're good. Thanks for tuning in, and happy creating. Later. My own characters and carving shit. I don't know, that's my word tonight. Carving shit into them. A recent interview with Keith LeBou, he called himself a stuffsmith. Well, I must be a shitsmith. Because I like gluing shit together. Oh, it's going to be one funny video, yeah. Okay.